Thank you very much. I welcome the opportunity, however short, to raise this with you, Minister, because I have a slightly different view on this. First of all, I think the Guards have done us a favour in highlighting the difficulties that they're facing in being asked to use their discretion. I think that's extremely difficult, and we know from the history in various tribunals that it's just not possible. So I think the problem has arisen from the message given by the government of an outdoor summer. But unfortunately, that outdoor summer simply means more consumption, and we will help with more consumption as to a broader interpretation of what an outdoor summer means. So in Galway, we have clear bylaws that say you cannot drink on the streets. Those bylaws didn't happen overnight. They happened as a result of continuous pressure from various people because drinking was out of control. Now, rather than recognise that was the position and having a balanced approach to the reopening of pubs, which I fully agree with, what we did was focused on an outdoor drinking situation. And in my opinion, it's totally wrong, because we should have opened all pubs to reduce the pressure, albeit with restricted capacity. So what I'm asking here tonight is not just for clarity, but for a more healthy message for the government as to what an outdoor summer means, while still facilitating the businesses in Galway and elsewhere.
Margaret Kerlock, and again I want to thank Deputies Connolly, O'Keefe and O'Reilly for raising this important issue and for giving me an opportunity to address it on behalf of Minister Humphreys. Following public health guidance, government policy is to have a gradual reopening of the hospitality sector, beginning with outdoor hospitality before a decision is taken on resuming indoor service in a few weeks. Many of our bars and restaurants have now reopened, serving outdoors, and this is giving people a welcome opportunity to safely meet with friends and family again. As An Garda Síochána have made clear, the overwhelming majority of licensed premises have behaved responsibly, and those who continue to behave responsibly in controlling their premises should have nothing to worry about. Gardaí all across the country use their discretion every day to police as the circumstances require, as they have done throughout the pandemic, and work closely with restaurants and pubs to ensure the safety of the public. An Garda Síochána will continue to adopt a graduated approach to the public health guidelines. Members of An Garda Síochána will engage with the public, as well as to encourage and educate with regard to the public health guidelines, as they have done throughout the pandemic. This is often a delicate balance, and there are different legal situations in different parts of the country, depending on whether there are local authority bylaws in place. A small minority of pubs have been serving alcohol to those seated outside agreed areas, and clearly that will be the focus of any Garda action in the first instance. Minister Humphreys has discussed the matter with the Garda Commissioner Harris a number of times, and did so again yesterday morning. The Commissioner has since issued a communication to Regional Assistant Commissioners and that the Gardaí should use discretion while continuing to respond to public complaints about public order issues, parking, noise, etc. The Commissioner has reassured Minister Humphreys that discretion will continue to be applied by the Gardaí in their engagement with licensed premises. Both the Commissioner and Minister Humphreys are satisfied that the Irish people can be facilitated to enjoy a safe outdoor summer, while the Gardaí continue with their difficult work to keep people safe. The Attorney-General and Minister Humphreys have also spoken on this matter to their officials and will work closely along with the Department of Housing to examine this matter in full. It's a complex area of law, as I'm sure the deputies can appreciate, but Minister Humphreys has committed to taking legislative action if necessary. And again, just in relation to specific points raised by Deputy O'Reilly, I don't agree with the contention that it's shambolic. I think we have, I think government has managed and put in place a level of adequate supports to help facilitate a safe and socially distanced outdoor summer, and the messaging is from a whole of government approach is getting out. Deputy Connolly raises a significant and important point about spreading the impact across towns and cities. It's certainly of consideration, but I do think that government has made good strides in working with all partners, with local authorities, and working with local communities, with vintners, with hoteliers, with the services sector, to put in place a good set of proposals and a good set of supports to ensure that we can have a safe and a very enjoyable outdoor summer of 2021.
Each deputy is 40 seconds. Jack O'Keefe.
Minister, I'd like to thank you for the reply, but it gets more confusing every time somebody speaks on the subject, because on the first page you say there's often a delicate balance that there are different legal situations in different parts of the country, depending on whether there are local authority bylaws in place. Well, that's true, but is that the problem in this case? If it is, you tell Galway to sort out their local authority problem. But then, in the last paragraph, you make it clear that, in fact, it mightn't be that at all. It might be primary law. Now, when the Gardaí went to the premises, they must have known under what law they approached the licensed people in Galway. And therefore, there cannot be this great complex problem there, because the Gardaí cannot approach anybody without having a basis in law. So are the government going to bring forward amending legislation to rectify this issue, or are they saying unequivocally, without doubt, that this is a matter for the local authority and their bylaws?
See, when I say shambles, this is what I'm talking about. So your script that you read out says Minister Humphreys has committed to taking legislative action if necessary. The Independent, the last hour and a half, is reporting Justice Minister Heather Humphreys will bring legislative changes on pubs and restaurants selling alcohol in their outdoor seating areas in the coming days. So that is the message that people who are fighting really hard to save their businesses, workers who want their jobs to survive this, they are getting mixed messages, Minister, and I do believe that they deserve some clarity, as well as the members of An Garda Síochána. They're being asked to police this, and I don't believe that they are being given sufficient guidance by the government on this. As I said, I raised this issue 6 weeks ago with the Taoiseach. You've had a long time to plan for this. We shouldn't be having this conversation now at this late stage. And in the intervening time, will you issue guidance? Will you issue some sort of clarity for those people who are going to be expected to deal with this mess that you have created?
Deputy Connolly.
Thank you. Minister, I think you're failing to grasp the significance of what's happening here. We're given a message that you take over public space and serve alcohol, which is against the bylaws, which prevents alcohol in public spaces. That's one message, and you're placing the guards in an impossible position. Another message that I'd like to get out here: Galway City Council passed the Barcelona Declaration almost 20 years ago, guaranteed universal access to all our residents, to the streets of Galway, to services, regardless of ability and age. There's a balancing of rights here, in addition to the businesses, which has not been looked at all, and we're focusing in on law. To me, the law is quite clear. You get a licence to serve drink on the premises. You can take it outside and drink unless there are bylaws, and we have those bylaws in Galway. But the message for an outdoor summer must be healthier than just consumption of alcohol and drink and taking over public spaces. It must be much fairer and broader than that, and inclusive. That's the problem.
As I said, Garda Síochána have made clear the overwhelming majority of licensed premises have behaved responsibly, and those who continue to behave responsibly in controlling the premises should have nothing to worry about. A tiny minority of pubs have been serving alcohol to those seated outside agreed areas, and clearly this will be the focus of any Garda action in the first instances. Many cities have bylaws in place. Local authorities have facilitated pubs with permission for outdoor seating and grants, and these have been made available to many businesses. We want to work with the Gardaí and need to be able to control matters as needed to prevent things from getting out of hand. Gardaí all across the country use their discretion every day to police as the circumstances require, as they have done throughout the pandemic, and work closely with restaurants and pubs to ensure the safety of the public. I trust that members will act in accordance with the Commissioner's instruction and will continue to adopt a graduated approach to the public health guidelines in the interest of public safety and order. But the government is clear that if we need to take further action, we will, and Minister Humphreys is currently discussing what further measures may be needed with the Attorney General and government colleagues. And again, I think in relation to Deputy Connolly's point about the messaging on outdoor summer, it is much broader. It is about the enjoyment of outdoor spaces of nature. We're asking for a responsible enjoyment of the summer of outdoors, and I think those messages have begun in media campaigns this week. So I think it is much broader than just consumption. It's much broader than just around consumption of alcohol in our towns and cities. It is about enjoying what the country has to offer on a broader scale as well. So we are cognizant of that messaging, and are beginning to get that message out this week.